Hey everybody, what is up? My name is Mackenzie.
And I'm Jonathan.
We are husband and wife, and we'd like to welcome you to TerreDice.
And today we're taking a look at the Bestiary of Sigillum.
Yeah, so what we got going on here, this is a battle game where a book that teaches you how to summon different spirits and worldly creatures has been found, and we have different pages, and we are trying to fight over who can complete this book. Now, before we jump in, I'd like to thank Crowd Games for sitting over this game, and without further ado, let's dive in.
Now, the Bestiary of Sigillum is centered around this conflict between two warring factions who are going to take control of a number of these different creatures. Now, there are multiple different maps, so we have the main map that we're on now. All of these are double-sided. We have a couple other different ones. They also have a backside with entirely different maps. And there's in fact also a couple different campaign modes, both solo, sort of like puzzle modes, as well as a dual campaign for two players to fight it out over a series of campaign missions. Now, a turn of Bestiary of Sigillum works like this. Now, I have three characters on my side of my faction. They've readied up. They're now going to be able to perform abilities. So every character has a maneuver or an attack that they can perform. That's their base ability. They're all going to be a little bit different. Some of them allow them to target people adjacent to them. Some of them are ranged. Some of them have requirements about which characters they can hit. So, for instance, this Mortem vampire character can only damage characters based on how many currently damaged characters are within 2 hexes of him. So he's got that bloodlust. Now you also have secondary support abilities. So these are like your spells that you can cast. So I might have a spell that gives me vampirism, which makes it so that I can, suck that blood right in and get it back as health for myself. When I play that, it is going to have a spell cooldown. So in this case, my cooldown would be 5. Now it could be 4 or 3, depending on a couple different things with how much damage I've taken. But on future rounds, once we've both been given a chance to go, this dial is going to move. Now this is the countdown, the cooldown on your abilities. So once that dial comes all the way back around, I'm going to get that spell back and it's going to be castable again. So I do not have to cast all of my support abilities every turn. I'm going to want to save those for when they really are going to make a lot of impact. But choosing 3 characters who work together well and have synergy on those abilities is a very important part of this game.
Yep, it also can be determined on what map you're using as well. Some are going to be better suited for desert, some are going to be better for earth and stone and whatnot. So you really get to dive into all the different characters and pick the ones that match up that you're going to have the best odds at competing against your component.
Yeah, and we mentioned so we have 6 out in front of us, the 3 and 3 that you start with, but there are actually 36 characters.
There are a lot.
So there are a bunch of different characters and they all do very different things.
Yes.
So part of the whole experience is who you draft at the beginning when you're going back and forth picking those characters.
Yeah, I really like diving into what all of them do and the different variants I could come up with. I really like that.
Now, this is a little bit atypical for games that we normally play. We don't play a whole lot of battle games. There's a MOBA game that I love to play with a bunch of my friends. It feels very reminiscent of that style of game. Now, I think what I do really enjoy about this game is the whole synergy between your characters and those abilities. I think there's a lot of fun puzzle here that's really meaty. It's if I do this first, then this character gets more powerful, and then I can play this other ability which is going to protect that character because I know they're going to get attacked by this other person on their next turn. And you can get some really good wombo combos going. You can stun everyone on the map so they can't do anything on their next turn. You can do all sorts of other kind of cool, clever things.
So the characters I've chosen, they are very specific to the map that we are currently playing on. I have a character that does very well in the forest because he's basically a tree himself. I think he is a tree.
Yes, like a treant.
And he does a good job. He has this ability called Call of the Woods where he can basically bring people into his enemies in or allies. They can suck them into the woods, into an unoccupied wood space. So that is extremely powerful. We got to play through this mission and I really enjoyed playing him. And then I also have an ocean one, which is going to be specific to the water elements. And then what he can do is that he has an ability to be able to move into a water space, an adjacent unoccupied water space, and it also allows him to get stronger. So those are the ones I have chosen. I also chose just a beefy boy. Honestly, I chose him because he was the box cover and I wanted him to play with me.
Yeah, it's this big dude here.
But he does a cool job. This isn't specific to the board, but my favorite one to do with him is going to be the hammer. And I love putting that on because basically what happens is if Jonathan was here,
Yeah, I was just gonna put you out here.
Put that right there. If I was here and Jonathan was here, I could do the hammer, and he could get swapped to the other side.
And then you stun me every time.
Yep. So it's very different, and all of the characters that you're going to pick from are all completely different abilities. And so I thought the creativity with like the amount of depth that you could go into was really good. So that's what I really enjoy about the characters. But I think my favorite part of this whole game, as you were explaining it earlier, is this dial.
Yeah, the cooldowns.
Is the cooldowns is I've never
It's very clever.
really seen anything like it. I haven't played too many battle games, but I personally have never seen like a countdown like this. Have you?
I haven't in anything I've played. It is a really cool mechanic. It plays very well. It's fun to see like, okay, I've got 2 more turns till that's available, so I actually want to like step back and not fight this turn and then come back in the next turn. So that's
I think
cool.
for a game that has a lot of like pretty heavy token management, this part right here, the cooldown, really takes care of that token management for you. I appreciated that because I have had things that maybe like it will ramp up, but I usually have to do it myself. The fact that this now points and tells me when that is, I thought that was really nice.
Yeah. Now let's talk about the token management because I think it's probably the thing that adds the most game time to the whole game that could be trimmed down on. I do feel that you could probably drop 15 minutes out of the game or so if you streamline some of this stuff. Specifically, like I've got 5 health points here. That's 5 tokens that I have to flip over one by one when I take damage. I would like to see that, just like one sliding track, and then I can heal a little bit.
I would agree with that. One of my problems was when you would kill me off, I would forget to flip myself back over.
Because, yeah.
And so you were like, wait, are you dead? I'm like, no, I'm alive.
There's also like, if I stun all your characters, they all get like the stun token, which is awesome because it tells me exactly what's going on. But you do spend a lot of time then being like, okay, now it's the start of my turn again, so the stuns go away. Now it is very clear on when and why those go away, and it also makes a lot of sense why they're there. Because like if I stun you, you stay stunned your whole turn. They don't go away till my turn, and there's rules about when you remove positive and negative effects. So it does matter, and it is an important aspect of the game, but it is something that's pretty fiddly. So let's talk about the campaign a little bit, because we played a couple missions of it. So specifically, the standard battle rule games are that anytime a character dies or you have control of these towers, you're going to be dealing damage to the enemy castle, and when the castle's destroyed, you've won the game. They do have a scenario mode, so there's actually like a bunch of different rule books over here, but one of these is the dual campaign, which is what we played. And it has a whole bunch of different like map rules where most of them are like destroy the castle, but some of them have other things. There's even one that we had to like go gather a bunch of resources to like start our war essentially. And it asked us to gather some fish and some wood and some stone from various region types by ending our turn there. The one thing that was a little bit weird about that one was it didn't give us anything to count those with. I don't know if this was intentional or not, but we were just using our phone to track that, which is a little bit strange. I think there's some ambiguities in the rulebook, specifically around like when you do certain token things and when when I'm supposed to like draft characters between scenarios. It wasn't clear to me like, do we pick 3 new characters? Do we keep the same characters? So I think there could have been a little bit more clarity there. But I did appreciate some of the other maps have some really fun rules. There's like a rail cart that you can take around that like change up how you can use the map, which is fun.
What type of people are going to enjoy playing this game?
Oh yeah, anybody who likes like MOBA style, like battle arena, battleground games. This is a very, very cool asymmetric one. I've played some games. If you enjoy like Guardians of Atlantis or anything like that, I think this is a great game to add to that collection. I think the organization system that it's got, this took me less than 5 minutes to get set up, which I think is a really critical thing for this sort of game. And you can kind of just play round after round without a whole lot of cleanup. There's just 4 tokens per character.
All right, now time for my favorite section of the videos is art and components. So this game has a lot of art to it. One part I absolutely love is going to be these different map tiles. You get
the player boards are so neat.
A lot of different variety and different terrains that you can go and visit. I really enjoy the colors that they use to bring out and to bring you into those different story worlds. I think that is very nice. I like the constellations that they use in the cooldown. Also very nice. The individual art with all of the different characters, there is such a very detailed, very dungeon crawler, fantasy, very I could say realistic. I would say is the genre, realistic fantasy.
Yeah, well, I think what's cool is that they're sketches because it's like
Yep.
it's a book of summoning these creatures.
Yeah,
which I
so
think
it's
is a cool
all
way
like
to do
an
it.
etch
Yeah.
of what he thinks these characters are going to be like and what this scientist or this magician has drawn these characters to look like. It's not my personal style of art. The board, yes.
Board's gorgeous.
But I
yeah.
do acknowledge that the art is very well done.
Yeah.
So I want to talk about components because this game comes with like very nice, it's going to be a very nice insert that's inside the box, very well done. I also enjoy the different holders, so you can change out the player color each of these are going to be. And so it's a very
so you
nice
just pop
holder.
one of those new discs in.
Yeah. So the management of how you can switch between the characters and how you always, let's say, oh wow, what if I lost the hammer? Who does it go to? It's going to tell me right on the back.
That's the number on the back.
Yeah, so I appreciate that. And on the back, I'll just unveil this one. On the back of each of these, it's going to have a lore of what these characters are and gives you a little bit more information and backstory.
Now the lore, the characters, a lot of like unique new characters, a lot of characters that also feel very inspired by other characters from other universes.
Yeah.
I see a character that looks just like Singed from League of Legends if you played it. So definitely some inspirations there as well. I think overall the lore was fine. It was a lot of fun story about the characters. I did notice a couple typos though. There were like, on a couple of the different cards that I saw, there were different typos or just like rules that wasn't exactly like proper English. So that is the Bestiary of Sigillum. So if you are into gritty battle fantasy games, please give this one a try. It's been in the making for several years now, and I think they've done a really good job with it. I think there's a lot of fun asymmetry that's going on here. If you have a competitive 2-player partner that you love to play games against, or even 4-player, there are some 4-player maps as well. You should definitely check it out and see how you like it.
Yeah, I think it's obvious that a lot of love and hard work has gone into this game, and there's a lot of passion behind this project as well. All right, guys, that is our review of the Bestiary of Sigillum. If you like this video, make sure to like and subscribe and hit that notification bell so you know whenever we put out a new video. And we'll see you next time.
Happy playing.